Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. I'm your host, Sasha Farba. Now, one of the most urgent issues facing Europe today, escalating drought conditions as vast regions across Europe and the Mediterranean suffer from prolonged water scarcity. Both ecosystems and agricultural sectors are feeling the strain. Now, with temperatures soaring and rainfall deficits continuing, the economic and environmental impact is becoming undeniable. Now, to help us navigate these complex issues, we're joined by Aleksandra Wiktor, an activist from Greenpeace Poland. Welcome to the program. Good to have you with us.
Hello, thank you.
Aleksandra, let's start with a bit of history here. Looking at these drought conditions at the moment, give us a little take. Are they worsening if we compare them to the last 2, 5, 10 years? Give us your take there.
Yes, unfortunately, as we can see and as we monitor, the situation is getting worse with each year. And the expert says that since almost 15 years, we are seeing the permanent drought in Poland. But also the situation is very difficult in different countries of Europe. For example, in May, the European Copernicus Center warned us that the drought may occur or is occurring in many countries of Europe. The most threatening situation is in the Central and Eastern Europe, in countries like our country, Poland, but also Germany, also Ukraine, Romania, the Slovakia, and in different countries like, for example, England or Ireland, and of course, the south of Europe, like Greece, and as you said, the Mediterranean, other countries like south of Spain or Italy. So this situation is getting worse and worse, and not only the countries that we thought in the years that were warm, like for example Greece or Spain, are losing its water resources, but also the central and our region of Europe is the situation is getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was going to ask you, where is the most vulnerable? And you've highlighted actually quite a large chunk of geography from Central Europe, also into the Mediterranean, south of Europe. So it sounds like this is a really wide-scale problem. The European Commission also has recently said that this is one of those highlighted major issues. But the question now is, in your mind, are authorities or governments now aware of this enough? Are they doing enough? What are the steps that need to be taken right now to reduce the effects of droughts?
I think that most of our politics are aware of the problem, but still they are not doing enough. For example, we didn't stop burning the fossil fuels that are the most important factor for deepening the climate crisis, because the climate crisis is the situation is like this because of the climate crisis, and everyone is saying that we have to stop deepening the climate crisis so the situation won't get worse. But it's not happening as fast as it should be. Yes, we are still depending on the fossil fuels, and we as a Poland, we are still not getting as fast as we should with getting into the renewable resources like the wind farms or solar panels. There are legislation that can help us with this change, but it is still not at the end. It's not still finished. The works on the legislation that will unlock the building of new wind turbines onshore is still not finished. It's getting at the finish line, but still their president will have to accept this law, this new law. And we are hoping that the president will accept this law, but still we will have to see. But we have to say this law should be unlocked years and years ago. So the yes, we are not doing everything we can as fast as we should do.
So there's still work ahead, as you said, different types of legislation. Of course, climate crisis, that's not just an issue for Europe, that's a global issue. I want to come back also to the droughts and also more specifically looking very much at how that is going to impact certain sectors. And I'm thinking of agriculture, first of all. So tell us a little bit how that's impacting agriculture here in Europe and our region and what can be done about this, because it doesn't sound good for that sector.
Yes, we already see this impact on agriculture. For example, in Poland, we are losing with each year the crops that value of each is like 6.5 billion Polish zlotys. And we are losing these crops. And because of that, we are, as normal people, we have to pay more and more for vegetables and fruits. So yes, of course, the agriculture is the sector that is most vulnerable for the droughts, because if there is not enough water in the soil and in the ecosystem, then the crops cannot grow as they would if the water levels would be higher. So yes, we are paying already for the droughts and for the climate crisis.
And I suppose that will also inevitably have some impact very much on food security, which I think some people might not be aware of. But also you mentioned water, and I also want to ask about that. I mean, if we have drought, water levels changing, what about the impact on shipping lanes, rivers, also looking at the Rhine and the Vistula? How's that going to be impacted by all this?
It is already impacted. What we've seen in last weeks was very alarming. The level of water in most of the Polish rivers were at the worst in the history. For example, the Vistula River in the Warsaw broke records of the lowest water level in the history. It was only 14 centimeters, and this is the biggest and the most important river for our country. But that situation was not only seen in the Vistula River, it was also very alarming in the Oder River and in many, many smaller rivers in Poland. And still, we had some rain in the last weeks, but the situation is not getting much better. And so yes, we are only in the middle of the summer, and the situation can get even worse. So if there is not water in river, then the ships cannot travel there. So all of the the situation is very alarming.
I know we're talking very much also about the environmental damage here, but can you give us some sort of take, something tangible of what we're looking at in terms of economic loss from all of this? If we've already addressed agriculture, food security, now you're talking about shipping. What kind of losses are we talking about potentially for the economy?
As I said, we already are losing 6.5 billion zlotys, Polish zlotys, in the agriculture, and the the other sectors are also vulnerable for the low water levels in the ecosystem. For example, our energy resources, which is still coal mines and the coal, yes, we still are depending on coal. And when we are burning coal, we still have to use water to decrease the temperature in the factories. So when there is less water, then the factories of energy can even stop producing energy. So there might be even blackouts in some parts. So the economy will also suffer. But what I wanted to say also, the biodiversity is very vulnerable for the drafts and low water levels in rivers. For example, a lot of animals and most of all the birds that are living on the wetlands are losing their habitats. So, for example, the aquatic warbler, which the most important habitat is in the Biebrza National Park, is losing its habitats because of the disappearing of the wetlands. And some of the species of plants, for example, trees, are disappearing from our landscape because there's not enough water in the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Like spruces or pines, they are just disappearing. And we cannot prevent that if the situation of the water levels will not change.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's alarming on many fronts here, as we've already covered now, with water levels, biodiversity, the economy, food security. So what's the ultimate enduring proposal now? What would you like to happen next from not just yourself as an activist from Greenpeace, but what is your call now to governments, just as we close here today?
First of all, we have to unlock the building of the new wind turbines on onshore. And second of all, stop burning the fossil fuels like the gas, like oil and coal, of course, because this is the most important factor for deepening the climate crisis. So our politicians have to take much more bold decisions, because right now they are saying that we have to make the energy transition, but we are not seeing that it is happening fast enough. And with the reconstruction of the Polish government, they have to start doing their job faster because we are losing the time.
Mm-hmm. Because the time is running out. As we increasingly see more droughts and higher temperatures, we'll hope more can be done to make that more normalized. Look, thank you so much for that, Aleksandra Wiktor from Greenpeace Poland. Appreciate your insights today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us. That was all for this conversation on World Talks, but stay tuned, much more coming up right here on TVP World. Goodbye.